everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a super fun video planned for you guys. I'm going to be journaling in my reading journal. So you have seen this journal before in my channel. There is another video where I set up my journal for 2023 and I will go ahead and link that above and below for you guys if you want to check it out. I did recently invest in a little tripod that allows me to film overhead, so it can be easier for me to film my journal with me, and so I was really excited to try it out. I decided to invest in one, and this is the first video that I actually got to use it. So come along with me. I'm actually going to be journaling and paying a little tribute to my two favorite characters, Lazlo and Sarai, my two little darlings from Strange Dreamer. Originally, I was going to kind of make a spread for Muse of Nightmares, which I did recently read, and it is also one of my vlogs. I can go ahead and link that if you're also interested in watching that and seeing my thoughts, seeing my last reactions to the book. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Izzy. Hi, welcome. And yeah, that's like my top favorite series, Strange Dreamer, and it took me years to finally read Muse of Nightmares because I didn't want it to end. So on top of that, I also did a little update as well, a little catch up, just updating my spreads. It is going to be a chatty journal with me video, so I'm going to be chatting with you guys, and without further ado, let's go ahead and start.
Alright, so first off, before I start, I have been seeing a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, okay, I'm not gonna pretend like my channel is all big, but I've been seeing people commenting on like Leo and how he's all cute and everything, and I reply that he loves the camera, and like he really does. This is proof. I don't know what it is. I swear every time he sees my phone out, he just jumps right in front of it. He loves the camera. It's like he knows. Before setting up, I was getting all my things ready. He saw the camera and of course he laid under it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, I am working on getting a cute little background for my videos. Instead of this like blanket. I'm working on getting a new background. I'm going to be trying to find like a black wooden background of some sort. I don't know yet. If you have any ideas, leave it in the comment section. I'm definitely open to any suggestions. But here you see me cutting out some printables that I basically got off of Canva. I don't have a lot of stationery in terms of like stickers and all of that jazz. I do have a lot of like paper that I get from the craft store, and I just don't have a lot of stickers, and so I did print this out. So here you're kind of just seeing me kind of set it up to where I want it at, and then I am using my favorite tool. This tool is kind of like a stamper, like a paper cutter. I use it to cut the corners from anything that I put on my journal. I don't like the sharp edges of the corners, and it's so useful. I got this, I can't remember, I think it was Amazon. It basically has like a corner cutter for 4mm, 7, and a 10. So the 7 is kind of like the size of my Archer and Olive, so I tend to use that on the corner of like my paper. Leo being so gentle. And yeah, I use it so often on everything. So if you are into journaling, I highly suggest investing in one because it really changes just the look of your journal. So basically I ended up not using the printouts that I cut out because they're fairies, and Muse of Nightmares and Strange Dreamer has nothing to do with fairies, so I decided I'm just gonna probably use that like in my March cover page or something. So I only use like the moths because that's it's a huge thing in the series, and I actually just put my favorite quote from the first book, Strange Dreamer. At first this was gonna be kind of like a Muse of Nightmares spread, but it ended up being more of like a little tribute to Lazlo and Sarai. The quote is, "It was impossible, of course, but when did that ever stop any dreamer from dreaming?" That is my absolute favorite quote from the entire series. If you've ever heard about this series, you've heard about this quote, and I think it's like in the first like 50 pages or so of the book, and it's amazing. Please read it. So yeah, I'm basically just writing down the little quote And I did also find a picture of Lazlo and Sarai. I believe this is like fan art or probably part of like those subscription boxes where they might have focused on Stranger Dreamer. I think I've seen it somewhere. So yeah, I also decided to go ahead and update my journal because I had not updated any of the spreads so far this year, so decided to also make my February cover page. And I found this picture off of the internet, so this is kind of like my recreation of that. I was very skeptical about putting this next to this blue page, but I was like, you know what, it's fine, it'll do. This is something that Izzy from the past would have obsessed over, but new Izzy, 2023 Izzy, is not gonna care. She is going to put whatever she wants on her journal. So yes, this is just me recreating it. When I saw this like cover on the internet, I saw that the person who did it used the Crayola Super Tips. And if you know, you know, these markers are the absolute best. I love them. They're so cheap. I mean, okay, there's probably better markers out there, but for the price, you can't go wrong with them. So I tried my best to find like the colors or kind of the exact colors that this person used, and I think I found the right shades. I did kind of switch off the green a little bit. They did use, whoever made the spread used like a lime green, and I like a more olive, darker green when it comes to like my flowers and such. So yeah, here you just see me kind of darkening the February and making sure that it also has a little outline to it. I tend to color in first before outlining, but in this case I needed to pencil it in, and I was not going to be able to color it in with a marker and then erase and then do the outline, so I ended up doing the outline first. If you know of any nice markers, affordable markers out there where you don't have to like color in a line where like the shades don't really show, you know what I mean? Like when you're coloring it in, you have to be very careful, and you can kind of see me getting impatient and just scribbling like right here. I got so impatient, so I was like, I'm just gonna color this in. But if you know of any markers that you don't have to like draw lines for so that they don't look, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you have any marker suggestions, please let me know. I do want to invest in some good markers, but not crazy invest, if you know what I mean. Yeah, coloring it in. So I also want to quickly talk about like my setup when it comes to filming journaling videos. I had the craziest setup, okay? I have like a tripod, simple tripod. I use my phone to film, and I had to like stack books and then kind of wrap the tripod in a blanket so that it wouldn't move, and then put a weight on top of that in order for me to get like that overhead shot. And I've actually, before this, back in 2020, back in COVID, I actually started a journaling channel, which I abandoned. But I was only focusing on journaling. I would do my book journal, and then I also had like my own little bullet planner that I had going on as well. And that is basically how I filmed that whole year. Like I said, it is an abandoned channel. I didn't continue because since the beginning, I have always wanted to do a book channel. But just imagine the crazy setup every time that I would film a video. And that is why I finally invested in a little overhead tripod. And it is amazing. I just clip it like to the end of the table. It adjusts so well, and I'm so happy with it. So I was really excited to film this video so that I can use it. So next up, I am finally updating all of my spreads, starting with my little library bookshelf. Again, this bookshelf is a recreation. So the channel that I got this idea from, her name is Katie from Katie is Reading. I can also link her channel down below. So yes, this is not my idea whatsoever. So I'm basically just filling in the title of the books that I read, both in January and February. And you will see me kind of pick the colors for the key. I have 3 different colors. One is for physical books, one is for audiobooks, and the other is for ebooks. So I tend to read a lot more audiobooks than anything. So I did choose a purple, a pink, and a blue. So I chose purple as my audiobook, and then I chose, I believe, pink. Yeah, pink is my physical, and then for ebook, I am using another blue actually. I figured that this blue was going to be too dark, and I was right. So I did color in one book, but it's no biggie. It's in the corner. All I did was I just changed the blue that I was going to be using. I think I'm just going to leave the key alone. It's fine. And pink for ebooks. Physical books. I can't remember. Physical, yes. So the next spread, this is like the little challenge to read 80 books in 2023. And I typically used squares, but this year I decided to use circles. I quickly filled that in. Here you kind of see me filling in my A through Z challenge. I could have filled in more titles, more letters, but I'm going to hold off on those titles that start with the word the. I am going to fill in only book titles that specifically the first word starts with that letter, and then I'll go back if I need to fill it in. Next up is my book battle. For January, my favorite book was Babel, and then for February, of course, Muse of Nightmares. Next up are my little library cards. Very simple. I just write in the title, the date issued, which is the date that I started reading the book, and then returned is the day that I finished reading the book. So this is a spread that carried on from my previous reading journal, and I really, really enjoyed it. Kind of paying a tribute to back in the day, checking out books, kind of where it all started. I was one of those girls that would take trips to the library at school, and I remember very faintly going to like the town library. I remember like my dad taking me, I think, and it's like a very faint memory, but mostly for sure taking out books in school and taking those AR tests. So I grew up in Arkansas in elementary, and I don't know if this is also a Texas thing, but basically after every book that you read, you would take a little test and gain AR points. So that is like my biggest memory of going to the library. And here I went back to my little library shelf because I actually forgot to fill in the window panes black. It's like the moon is out there, and I was just gonna leave it white for some reason. But yeah, I originally was going to color the window panes in with gray, and decided to instead use my Tombow Fudenosuke pen. So as you can see, I kind of had to get a little close and personal, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip. There we go. So yeah, that is the final look for now. This is kind of a little flip through my read 80 books, my reading goals, A through Z, my book battle. I can't wait for all of this to be all filled out nicely and neatly. And wow, I literally talked the whole time. I'm sorry if I talked your ear off, but thank you guys so much for watching. It really means the world to me that you guys are out there liking my videos and commenting and just supporting me. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. So if you've been enjoying my content so far, make sure to click the subscribe button down below, and if you enjoyed this video, comment down below the blue butterfly emoji. That would help my channel so much, and I will see you in my next one.